Good morning everybody, and welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. Today we're going to be canning up some of those good blackberries that we picked during the spring, and we're going to have us some blackberry jam on the shelves. We're going to have some good shelf-stable blackberries on the shelf now. I have enough to make 3 batches of jam, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm making the jam. I'm using the whole fruit. I'm actually intending to use these in recipes, so I'm not too worried about it actually setting or not, but I'm still going to use the pectin in it. Here's my first pot of berries, which has 5 cups of berries in it. It's time for me to add in my surejell, was what I'm using. This is what I'm using, the surejell. Add that right down in the pot. Stir that in. And I got to get this up to boiling before I add my sugar into it. And it shouldn't take very long. I've mashed these a little bit. I didn't mash them a whole bunch. And they smell delicious already. Meanwhile, I've got my jars in this water. I'm waiting for it to boil so I can sterilize them in there. It's the same water I'm going to use to can them in. I have some sugar here. Since I'm doing 3 batches, I have a lot of sugar here, but each batch I'm going to put 5 cups of sugar in. So I'm using 5 cups of sugar to 5 cups of berries. I got my lids ready, brand new, never used lids. A funnel, a ladle, a debubbler, and I'm going to have some water in here and a clean paper towel to wipe off my rims with before I put the lids onto them. This is my other batches of berries that I'm going to be doing. That's going to give me the full amount that I'm wanting to can today, because that's everything that I took out of the freezer. This is starting to get up some heat, but it has to be boiling before I add the sugar. I'm just kind of mashing my berries while I'm waiting for them to come up to heat. I could have mashed them before I put them in the pot, but I find this is just as good. It saves a little time. I'm waiting for it to come up to heat anyway, and I have to stir it the whole time, so I'll just as well mash them while they're going through this stage. My intention is to have my berries shelf stable, to get them out of the freezer. There's all kind of times when you could be out of electricity and your stuff in your freezer could be at risk. So why leave those things in the freezer that you could get into jars? That's what I'm doing today. Okay, this is where it needs to be for me to add my sugar in. So let's start adding some sugar. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio, guys, of berries and sugar. 5 cups of berries, 5 cups of sugar. Now that I have my sugar in here, I'm waiting for it to come all the way up to a rolling boil, which means even though I'm stirring it, it is still boiling. So that's what I'm waiting on now. While I'm waiting on that, I need to get these jars out of here and get them lined up and ready to fill up. They're hot enough, they're sanitized. Put an old rag down in the bottom of that pot so that when I put my jars in, they won't be touching the bottom of the pot. Okay, we're getting up to a rapid boil. It's boiling even though I'm stirring it. So that's the point that I was trying to get to. It has to do this for 1 minute, and then I'm going to turn it off and start putting it in my jars. And it's going to go to 1/4 of an inch. It's going to go to 1/4 of an inch below the rim. Okay, I'm going to go through each one of these and just make sure I don't have any bubbles in there. It shouldn't. It's pretty liquidy. Shouldn't have any bubble problem with this kind of a situation here. But there is some berries in there, so I'm going to go through them just in case. Okay, that's good. And now I'm going to go over those with some wet water and a clean paper towel and just wipe those rims off carefully, because I don't want to spill any of this and get burned. It's very hot. That sugar and juice is very hot. It was boiling. Y'all seen that. Just always be careful when you can, and don't get in a rush, because you don't want to get burned. Be very careful. It's not a job for little kids at all. See all that stuff coming off of that those rims? You definitely want to make sure you wipe those down good, because you won't get a good seal if you leave that stuff on there and put that lid right on top of that dirty rim. You're not going to get a good seal. So take the extra time to wipe them down. It only takes a minute. But like I said, don't get in a hurry about it. To me, canning is a process. I like to take a lot of steps with it. Like I'll pick my berries and freeze them in the spring, and then I don't even take them out and get ready to can them until the fall, or whenever I have time to kind of work. Canning kind of works into your schedule whenever you have time to. For me, it does anyway. Okay, that's good. Now we can get our lids on. Always using clean lids for this part. Now the bands, you can reuse those. That's not a problem, but you always want to use clean, fresh lids. Okay, there we go. And I had just enough in that pot, y'all, to fill those jars up. I mean, look, it's hardly nothing left in the bottom of the pot. And I'm going to save that, and I will use it. Use a rag to hold these jars while I twist these on there. Just hand tight. Just hand tight is all we need. Okay, Okay, and into the canner they go. Just like that. So I'm going to cover it up, and all it's needed is a gentle boil for 10 minutes. So I'm going to let that process for 10 minutes. That's what jams are supposed to process for, and then I'll get them out. You'll notice that since I put my jars in there, they've slowed down boiling a good bit. I need them to come back to a gentle boil before I start my timer. Okay, you see how that's bubbling up on the side like that? Every now it makes a big bubble up. I just turned it off. But I think it's from using that rag under there. I think I'm going to try to use something like this in the bottom of it instead of that rag. That's going to be better. Time to take these out though. All right, 8 down, 16 more to go. Something worth mentioning is whenever you're sterilizing your jars, go on ahead and put some hot water from the sink in them and let the jars heat up before you put them into that boiling water on top of the stove. Or start your pot out with cool water with the jars in it, because if you put cold jars into hot water, you have a very good chance of them cracking. And I actually cracked one of mine today. You see it's barely leaking. It's got a little crack in the bottom of it because I didn't temper it enough and I put it into some hot water. So that's definitely worth mentioning. And I knew that, but I tried it anyway, and you see what happened. Okay, so this is the 8 that I canned first, and then I canned this 8 next, and I still have 8 of them in the canner that I'm about to take out. It was very easy. If you want to can jams or jellies and you buy the little boxes of surejell, all the recipes for just about any kind of fruit is in there. On those, they come with a little leaflet. So if you want to can any kind of fruits or jellies and you want to use this surejell, it works really good. And it comes with this little leaflet inside of it, and it tells you exactly how to do it. It tells you what you need, everything, step-by-step instructions. And jams and jellies are some of the easiest thing to can, that you can do them in a water bath. You don't have to use a pressure canner for jams and jellies. They're easy to can. So anybody who's starting out canning, I would suggest they start with the water bath canning and maybe do some jams and jellies, because it comes with all the recipes right there in the box. Not too shabby. A couple hours of canning work. Aren't they pretty? They're so beautiful. So glad I have them. That's gonna be so good on some toast or some biscuits, or I can make cakes with them. All the fiber is still in it because I didn't get rid of that. I chose to keep all of that in my jam. So I'm so happy. I'm so glad I have them. All right, y'all. I hope y'all learned something. That's the end of this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.